What up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another great episode of what I like to call a dialogue on basketball. And today, I want to talk about the one and only Wet Bananas, Victor Wet Bananas, to all of you that don't know him. And yes, I said it, wet bananas, as in the bananas that you throw out the window when you're playing Mario Kart to up your opponents. Victor Wet Bananas. And I want to talk about what his ceiling is in the grand scheme of NBA history. Because it's frankly rare to see a rookie average over 20 points a game, let alone couple that with 10 plus rebounds a game, handful of assists per game. And we've never, ever since blocks started being recorded as a stat, we have not seen a rookie in the modern day NBA, so let's say the 2000s on, average over 3 blocks a game. And what do you have it? The last two to do it before him, which I believe are the only other two that have ever done it, were Shaquille O'Neal in 1993 for the Magic and David Robinson in 1990 for the San Antonio Spurs. So, obviously, Shaq and David Robinson are some of the best players of all time. And I can't say that Victor had the best rookie season ever, because statistically it's just not true. And in terms of wins, it's also not true, because the Spurs were not the best team this year, despite having added a generational talent in my boy Wet Bananas. But I truly believe that if Victor continues to improve every season for at least the next 5 to 10 years, maybe not 5, let's say the next 7 to 10 years, if he can have improvement every year, and I mean both in terms of things that aren't on the stat sheet, like his just overall skill level and basketball IQ and awareness, as well as improvements to the stat sheet. Like if he, winds up averaging 2 points per game better each season for the next 10 years, I mean, he's going to be averaging high 30s in points by the time he hits that peak, which is probably not very likely. But I'm just saying, in terms of a general thing, if Victor Wembanyama can have a season at his peak where he's averaging 35 points per game and like 15 rebounds, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think he could honestly, if he couples that with winning and winning championships and, staying with the Spurs for as long as possible, staying on one team, like he has a chance. He has a chance, if he does all those things, to go down as the best player of all time. And I'm not crowning him that, so don't like send me like hateful DMs and shit saying that I'm like jumping to conclusions, because I'm not. Because he's, at this point in time, he's not the greatest player of all time. He's not a top 100 player of all time yet, because he's played 1 year. But I like to hypothesize and think about the future, and if he continues to improve on this baseline level of play that he showed us last year, like there's no one that can guard him. The NBA has never seen someone who's 7'4" play like this. We've had plenty of guys come in the league who were tall, very tall. Manute Bol was 7'7". We had George Muresan, who I think was also like 7'6" or 7'7". Sean Bradley also somewhere in the 7'5" plus range. Yao Ming. We've had a ton of players, maybe not a ton, but we've had a good handful of players that are registering above 7'4". None of them play like this. And none of them have the mobility and the agility that Victor has. And I think that's the key, is that someone that moves this way, excuse me, and has great shot fundamentals like Victor, can hit the three, can make free throws. He just, it's hard for me to say that by the time he retires, if he has a long NBA career where he plays 15 plus years, like, I think we're going to look back on it and be like, yeah, like, he deserves to be put in the conversation of, is this the greatest player of all time? And it's a little bit different from like when Wilt Chamberlain played, because a lot of stats back then weren't tracked. You know, people say, oh, Wilt Chamberlain was averaging 10 blocks a game or something crazy like that, which he very well might have been, you know, based on the other numbers he put up throughout his career. I wouldn't be surprised, but we don't have that available to us, and we'll really never know, because it's not like games were, you know, locally televised or nationally televised as much as they are now. And it's just a different game. But Victor Wembanyama, excuse me, Victor Wembanyama, I'll stop calling him wetbananas for right now, but Victor Wembanyama is a generational talent already. And he's playing in a league that has an abundance of talent. Not that Wilt Chamberlain didn't, but the talent is different. The skill level is much, much higher. And I think nowadays, the baseline skill level to be an NBA player is a lot higher. And for example, like, just look at, you know, the 4s and 5s that play in today's game. If you went back to the early 2000s, like, you had 4s and 5s that literally did not shoot at all, like, did not shoot the ball at all. And now, if you want to play, you know, the 4 or the 5 on a winning team, you really have to be skilled. You have to be able to kind of dribble the ball a little bit, at least so you can get it into the hands of a guard, you know, or just at least function within the overall scheme or the plays that you're running. But also, you have to be able to hit open shots, because if you're a liability on the offensive end and you can't hit shots, the coach isn't really going to be able to play you that much. You're not going to be effective. You know, like, look at Draymond Green. I mean, Draymond Green has been a horrible three-point shooter the last couple of years, and it's really affected the team's success. And there's not enough offense on the team anymore to rationalize leaving him on the court for that long. So with Victor is an absolute, just like, unicorn in terms of the, like, how he shoots and stuff. And, like, I guess maybe a comparable player would be Kristaps Porzingis, because Porzingis is also very tall, 7'3", and he, you know, can shoot the ball. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit, and he gets blocks and, you know, plays defense, but he's not the defensive player that Wembanyama is. And he doesn't have the same level of agility that Wembanyama has. And I think it's going to become apparent very soon, like in the next year or two, like, how ridiculous this guy is. And, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of other people like me that kind of already see it. Like, you've been watching the NBA long enough, and seeing something like this, seeing this guy enter the league, and, you know, him confirming that he is that guy and can do all the shit that he, you know, was, I guess, touted and, you know, said to have been able to do before he entered the league. It's just incredible. Like, I really think, like he frankly had a better rookie season than LeBron. And that's incredible, right? I mean, he didn't have a better rookie season than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's probably probably had one of the best rookie seasons ever. Averaged over 28 points a game. So, and that honestly came a little bit more out of nowhere than, Victor. People at the time didn't know if Michael Jordan was going to be a star. They thought he was going to be good, but they didn't know if he was going to be a star, let alone, a super all-time great franchise player that was going to lead the Bulls to multiple championships. So it's going to be an interesting ride over the next, decade plus with my boy Wet Bananas, because he's something, and he only shot 46.5% this year. So he gets that up to like 50, between 50 and 55. He's already going to be knocking on the door of 30 points per game. And he's got Chris Paul on his team now. He's got Harrison Barnes on his team now. He's got good vets on his team. It's going to be a show. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Victor has the ability to become the greatest player of all time? Or am I, hallucinating? Let me know. Because, again, I'm not saying he will be. I'm saying he has the potential to go down as the best player of all time if he continues to improve year after year. I think it's a rational opinion. You guys let me know what you think. My boy Wet Bananas is rising up the charts, and it's going to be must-see TV for the foreseeable future. Peace.